everyone, it's Jen from Catascrapdesigns. I am going to be making some of my scrappy belly bands, my fabric scrappy belly bands. And I make them with these strips. This is how I start them off. And what I do is I take my fabric scraps and stuff that I cut out, and I just kind of put them all over the page and then take them to my sewing machine. I did, however, cut out these old vintage ribbons. These are really old. I cut these out for them to put them on here as well. These are going to be for one of my sewing journals that I'm working on right now. So basically, what I do is I usually make 2 at a time, and I just put the scraps wherever. These I just cut up because they were in a roll, and they're really old and they feel really funky. They don't feel like regular ribbon, but a lot of it's going to get cut up, so it doesn't matter really which way. I'm sorry, not cut up, covered up, because I have some sewing themed stuff that I want to put on. So I just wanted to kind of like get that on to begin with. This time I'm going to be using, I have this feather I wanted to use. Which I haven't used the feather before, so we're gonna see how that looks. Some lace. So yeah, I don't know how the feather is gonna look once I start stitching. They don't have to be perfect pieces. I just take the scraps that I have, whether they match or not, because it is a sewing themed book. I even take the edges of these that I pull off the sides of the handkerchiefs, and I use those. And again, like I said, a lot of this, once I start stitching, is going to be covered up anyway by some of the, whether I use stamped fabric, which is what I typically use. I'm not using that today. I'm using cardstock today. Even pieces of thread. Put another piece under here. More lace. And I have some of this very light, can't tell it's blue. Some of this. And I'm gonna go ahead and take one of them over to my sewing machine now and just do some straight lines and zigzags and just kind of get them adhered to the page. So bear with me as you hear my sewing machine. I can't bring you with me. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just going around the strip in different ways, zigzagging, making sure that the fabric is adhered to that strip. I just moved it now to the straight stitch. And then to the locking stitch. So this is basically what it looks like after I'm done stitching. Then normally, like I said, I would take my stamped fabric, which I'm not using today, but I am using some of these sewing pieces. So I'm going to sew these on and then I'll show you what they look like. Doing the other one now. Okay, and then I have these right here. Just buttons, lace, ruffles, little words, zigzag that I'm going to sew onto. I'm going to put a couple on each, so I'll do that now. And then when I'm done with this, I may put some buttons on the front, hot glue those on, just a couple of them, just because it is a sewing journal, but I do sew the buttons on a lot of my belly bands anyway. One more to sew on. Am I so happy? I'm letting a lot, this is what it looks like when it's all sewn up. I'm leaving a lot of the threads hanging because it is a sewing journal, and I'll show part of the book and what I've gotten done so far. And I've left a lot of the threads hanging on the journal cards and the tags and the tabs, just because it is a sewing journal and they can always be cut off. But so this is the belly band, and this would go on top of the page, and then we would tuck behind. I would put this on with Fabrifix, top and bottom, and then just stick anything in between there. So I would probably stick, you know, a couple of buttons on here, just because. But this is how I do my scrappy fabric belly bands. This is how I start them, sew them up, and then I sew on whatever embellishments I'm gonna sew on. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you learned anything from it, great. If it inspires you to make your own, fantastic. Until my next video, you guys have a great day. Bye.